Well, I seem to be trapped in this ongoing, continuing identity crisis. I mean, I don't know what the problem is. I've tried all kinds of things.
Well, sometimes we can get to the root of the problem through dream analysis. Maybe you can tell me about your dreams.
My dreams. Yeah. Well, last night I had this dream about the Civil War. It was amazing. I mean, these, cannons are roaring and thousands of guys are on the hillside shooting at each other, and they're probably shooting at their own brothers and cousins, and in Kentucky, that's the way the war was. I mean, the guy that lived next door to you might be trying to blow you up at night. And the Civil War was just amazing in Kentucky, and I've got that in my blood. It's really part of my thoughts and part of everything I think about. Well, let's see, there's this big battle going on, and there's all these guys, on horses and cannons and the guys in blue coats and gray coats and red coats and all kinds of flags fluttering, and so after the battle, and everything's kind of calmed down a little bit, and there's this campfire scene, and there's this guy in there, and he's playing his harmonica, see, and he's playing this tune called "Soldier's Joy." It's a tune he played with his cousin growing up, and it's a very popular tune and a very important tune. And all of a sudden, he goes, wait a minute, what's that? He hears this mandolin playing the same song off in the woods. He looks back at the other guys, and they don't seem to notice much of it or anything, think much of it. So he kind of sticks his harmonica in his pocket and wanders off towards the sound of this music, down by the creek. He's sure that it's his cousin, his first cousin, his best friend. And he walks out to the edge of the creek and calls his name, "Hey, Luke!" And from the other side of the creek, this guy in gray with a rifle over his shoulder and a mandolin dangling from his hand comes out there, and he, "Shelby, I thought that was you." Shelby takes a look at his cousin. He has a big grin. They walk into the middle of the creek and embrace. And for a minute, just a minute, the war stops. The killing stops. And they're reunited. And so the Yankee guy convinces his cousin to come on back up to camp. He said, "These guys are really good guys." He said, "I know you've had some really hard times down here in Kentucky, but these guys, they're from Michigan and Ohio, and they're really good guys, and I'm sure that, we go back up there. I mean, we can talk about both of us being redheads, and how we have such a tight bond, and I'm sure once I get into camp, everything would be kind of cool." And they go into camp, and these guys are a little startled. The guy's pretty, "Is that your prisoner?" And he says, "No, this is my cousin." He says, "Shelby, I want you to meet my friends." And so they sit down and they, swap and Yankee coffee for Southern tobacco, and telling stories and talking about relatives and remembering the good times and playing some good music and foot tapping, and for a moment there is no war and everything is just great, and telling stories and jokes, and they're all just human beings on this planet together. Everything is like it should be, not like the horrors that they've been going through for the last couple of years. And then things start winding down, and it gets to be kind of a quiet moment, and out of the bushes Comes the first sergeant. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. And grabs the guy and he goes, oh, Jesus, what's going on? Come on. You know, Captain says, black flag, take no prisoners. I couldn't see waste no slug on those rebels. Well, I mean, you know, I don't know whether to, you know, do your job for you or anything, but it seems to me that this is about, you know, my parents wanting to, you know, stop me from being a professional musician and you know, denying my musical skills. But, you know, I could be wrong, but, you know, I mean, what do I know? I mean, you're the doctor and everything. I mean, maybe if you got any better ideas, I mean, maybe you could, you know, do them.
I think we could get through with a little bit of hypnosis. And so I would like to suggest that you look at this watch. Follow the watch with your eyes. You are getting sleepy. Sleepy. Your eyelids are heavy. You're very relaxed. Relax. From your toes, to your ankles, to your knees, to your hips, to your elbows, to your shoulders, and finally, your head.